Coming to you from Investor Town Hall's headquarters in sunny San Diego, I'm Daniel Wong. On today's program, we have SAKL Lunch Productions. It's a large-scale event and film entertainment company giving us their elevator pitch and talks about future growth. Stay right there because we're talking about what investors need to know and why SAKL should be on the top of your stock watch list. The entertainment company behind Slide the City, The Dirty Dash, Color Me Rad is catching the attention of millennials and investors. SAKL Lunch Productions is behind them all, and CEO Richard Surber joins us on Skype from Salt Lake City, Utah to fill us in. Richard, these events sound fun for customers, and I bet investors are really liking that the top-line growth is there, and really thanks for taking the time to speak with us today. Richard, for our audience out there who hasn't heard of SAKL Lunch Productions yet, can you tell us about the company and how it all got started?
Well, we threw our first pilot event in 2014, and the pilot event was Slide the City, and the concept was created by Thier and a couple of other founders up here, and it was held in Salt Lake City in July, and we did a great video, and the video went viral, and so we were able to open up or hold as many as 100 various events coming into 2015. So in 2015, we actually brought on some additional events as well, some of the ones that you mentioned earlier, but the Latern Fest, the Dirty Dash, Color Me Rad, and Strike Riot will be launched here in 2016. So the event companies are playing really well for participants and investors alike.
Why don't you explain a little bit? I mean, what's Color Me Rad? What's a Dirty Dash? Just give us kind of some brief overviews of what those actual events are.
Okay. Well, the Color Run is it's usually a 5K, and there's close to maybe a dozen different color stations. So the color is comprised of a cornstarch, and they're vibrant colors, and there's entertainment beforehand, entertainment after, and it's like all of our events, it's family-based, and it's about fun, not about competition. So there you go. There's a great video of what our events looks like.
And then, Richard, what are some of the major achievements you'd like to highlight so far?
Well, the acquisition of Color Me Rad and Dirty Dash happened August 7th, 2015. So that, bringing those two events under our wings, plus buying back about 40 different franchised cities for Slide the City from a company called Springbok, was a very big milestone. Coming into 2016, it looks like we're going to nearly double the number of events that we're holding system-wide. So in 2015, between corporate and franchise events, we held about 100 of them. This year, it's going to be around 200, maybe even surpassing the 200 mark. Another thing that we were able to do in the last half of 2015 and 2016 was create a franchise system for Slide the City. So we're franchising this event throughout the world. One of the contracts we signed, for instance, was with mainland China. We're doing up to 5 cities there. Another really lucrative market is in Tokyo and Hong Kong. This event has played really well in Asia. But outside of that, we're focusing on South America, and we have a franchisee that's in I think one of the more exotic places, South Africa. So obviously Slide the City is a summertime event, and so when it's winter here, it shuts off. Let's say I think the last event is probably in September, but in the southern hemisphere, when it's winter here, it's obviously summer down there. So a lot of those franchisees are hosting Slide the City events, at that point. So those are a couple of major achievements. The Latern Fest is doing a lot better than we anticipated as well. We've actually increased the number of Latern Fests that we're holding, and we're holding them later in the season. So the Latern Fest is kind of a counter to Slide the City, because we generally don't host that many events in the heat of the summer. So we're holding those events predominantly in spring and fall, and we'll host those events all the way into November. And we've had as many as I think 10,000 participants at some of the larger Latern Fest events. So at those those events, there's a real emotional tie. You have thousands of people sending off these sky lanterns into the night sky, and a lot of them, most of the participants write some message, on there, whether they've lost someone or they're wishing upon something, so on and so forth. And most of the time, there's live entertainment and s'mores, and it's just a great feeling for all the people that were able to see that spectacle. Just to get into a little more depth of some of the other events, we kind of explained what Color Me Rad was, but Dirty Dash is a mud run. You can see all the mud here. It's an obstacle course. And I think it's, a lot of your viewers may have heard of the Warrior Dash or Spartan races. All those races are really competitive, really grueling, and even painful, is how some of the participants, have described it. As you can see, this is about, again, getting out in the sun, bring the family, people of all athletic abilities can do this. It's a great starter sort of race, and it's about, again, family fun. These events go off extremely well.
Well, we're talking to Richard Surber, CEO of SAKL Productions, ticker SAKL. Richard, obviously this is a growing event thing, and everyone really loves these types of events you're doing. It's fun for everybody. I've heard of some events similar, as you mentioned, some of these Dirty Dash runs, but these other things you're doing are definitely very unique, and the fact that you're actually reaching out on a global scale is very interesting to me. How have you been able to get into those markets?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of pounding the pavement and making connections. So, and that's there's no secret really to it, other than a lot of hard work. As a lot of these videos have gone viral, and as the size of the crowds have increased, it attracts a lot of attention. And we get a lot of inquiries just via our social media channels. Another really important component, to this business besides ticket sales is the opportunity for sponsorship dollars. And coming into 2017, we're going to work really hard, on obtaining, a substantial portion of revenues from sponsors. We hope up to maybe 20-30% of revenues could be sponsorship dollars. So this year, I mean, we have some very well-known, names that have sponsored things on a smaller scale. I mean, anywhere from Burger King, Nestle, State Farm Insurance. There's a whole laundry list that listeners can look at on our website.
Well, it seems like you're growing exponentially, and the fact that you get a lot of organic growth and things from the people that are participating, especially through the videos going virally, and definitely for our audience out there, that's how also you can be involved. If obviously you're investing in these companies, you can help actually to spread the word on the company, let other people know about why the company's doing so well and why you like it so much. Richard, I wanted to touch on this too. You just had a press release out today with the company. You're reporting excess of $10 million in revenue for the last 6-month period ending June 30th, 2016. The price per share is up today about 20% or so. Richard, let's talk about some of the growth expectations you have going forward.
Well, in 2016, we anticipate doing about $17.2 million in gross revenues, which will be about a 70% increase over 2015. And 2015 was over 100% increase over 2014. But the release we put out today the 10.15 million in system-wide sales, was comprised of a lot of different components. That number does include the sales that from tickets sold by a lot of our franchisees, which in the final analysis will not be included in SAKL Lunch Productions revenues. So it's kind of interesting how the revenue structure works and what their rules require us to do. So we'll be selling tickets starting in January, right? But the first events don't even open until, let's say, March. So if you look at the first quarter, for instance, what you're going to see is it's going to look pretty light, on the income statement as far as revenue goes. But then if you pull over to the balance sheet, you're going to see, I think, nearly $2.7 million as a liability sitting in there as a deferred revenue piece. So the accounting rules require us to book all those revenues as a liability, and we are only able to realize them when we actually hold the events. So what you're going to see is when that second quarter report comes out, it's going to look pretty good. When third quarter comes out, it's going to look like, well, it's not going to look, we will have hit it out of the park because most of the events that we host are going to occur in the third quarter, which for us began July 1. So it should be a great, great quarter.
Gotcha. Understood. Definitely looking forward to that, and we wish you all the best of success there. Again, we're talking to Richard Surber, CEO of SAKL Lunch Productions, SAKL. Richard, also we talked about something previously. It's really a sector that's appealing to millennials. Have you really built that up, for that type of target sector of growth there?
Well, I think one of the backbones of the organization is the data that we have. So when we made this acquisition, we're able to combine that database of emails with our own. And I think last we checked, the database of participants is approaching about 4 million individuals. And if you look at all of our social media channels as well, Color Me Rad, I think, has about 2.4 million likes on their Facebook page alone. And we keep on attracting more and more followers, and as you pointed out, most of those are millennials. I believe the reason these events are so appealing to millennials is because I think they value great experiences, and this allows anybody to pull out their phone, take video, take pictures, and repost that to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth, and share the great experience that they're having with all their friends and family. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these things have gone viral and why it's worked so well.
Well, congratulations on all your success. It looks like the company's really blowing up exponentially here. It looks like we're out of time for now, but we want to thank our guest, SAKL Lunch Productions CEO Richard Surber, for being on the program. For more information on upcoming events and on the company, go to saklunchproductions.com. The company trades under SAKL on the OTC. Thank you, Richard, for joining us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Richard, we look forward to having you on the show again soon. Catch more video interviews on investortownhall.com in the webcast section, and tune in next time. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for the next interviews here on investortownhall.com. Also, make sure to join a stock board to start the discussion and get your voice heard. Investor Town Hall connects investors and companies building trust and transparency in both public and private companies. This is your chance to get your voice heard on our platform and share information with investors just like you. From equity crowdfunding, Regulation A+ to emerging growth companies, we are on the front lines in capital formation and entrepreneurship. Find out how the average Joe can get skin in the game. We put leading industry professionals front and center, giving you access to years of knowledge and expertise. Join the conversation on investortownhall.com and sign up for your free account today.